Happening today, the city's roughly 1 million rent-stabilized tenants will have a clearer picture of potential rent increases in their next renewal. Tonight, the Rent Guidelines Board plans to hold a preliminary vote. The story now from Pix 11's Kieran Dillon in the East Village.
Well, that preliminary vote will take place here in the East Village tonight at 7 o'clock. And for so many tenants who live in rent-stabilized units across the city, they are waiting with bated breath. This vote tonight will give them an idea of what their rent could go up to in the future. A recent report shows the possibility of rent hikes that haven't happened in decades. The possible range, on the low end, between 5.3% for one-year leases to 6.6% for two-year leases. On the high end, it could be 8.25% for one-year leases and 15.75% for two-year leases. Staggering numbers for many, and for some tenants, they are unbelievable.
That's ridiculous. I mean, we just came through a pandemic. Everybody's staying here. This is a city. This has got rent stabilization, all kinds of subsidies to flow into these guys that we don't see.
Many landlords testified last week that they are in need of the highest rent hike that is possible because of higher operating expenses and rising inflation. But in a statement, the Legal Aid Society said, quote, "Given the severity of last year's rent hikes coupled with the ongoing citywide housing crisis, the board should unequivocally reject any proposed increases for tenants in rent-stabilized units and commit to an outright freeze." Some experts agree.
I think that anything is a possibility. I think that it likely will not be as high as 15 or 16%. I do think that the decision to weigh a 16% rent increase is a political one. I think we should have a rent freeze. I think that we should have another rent freeze, and I'll tell you why. We are at a crossroads right now in New York City housing. We have a behemoth housing crisis, a homelessness crisis.
So City Hall does help influence what this rate hike will be, and it's previously told us in April that these costs, these numbers that we're seeing, they're only one representation of what landlord increase to costs have been, but they say in no way do they represent what the administration or the board's recommendation will be. So very interesting tonight to see how this board will vote. Again, that vote happens, the preliminary vote, at 7 tonight. A final vote will take place in June. Reporting from the East Village, Kieran Dillon, Pix 11 News.